I am a firm believer that Blue Lock is hands down the best sports anime of all time, and that may be a hot take, but hey, it is what it is. I think that Blue Lock is the most realistic when it comes to developing their characters into becoming stars. And I'm not saying like in other animes that characters don't train or anything like that, but still, this is about Blue Lock. I think Blue Lock is just more detailed and refined using IRL examples in the best possible way. Where Blue Lock, it had a lot of hype. I know that the anime was pushed back and delayed to release in October. Now, I'm not sure if it was, they were trying to link up with the World Cup or whatnot, but still, it was delayed. I was a little bit concerned, but I think it's lived up to the expectations, and it's really freaking good. But if you guys enjoy regular anime content, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. With that away, my name is Potential Unleashed, and here's why I consider Blue Lock to be the best sports anime. Now, I'm not going to act like I'm some sports anime guru. I think I've only seen two besides Blue Lock, and that's Haiku and Aoashi, where I think that Blue Lock is the superior sports, or, well, soccer anime compared to Aoashi. But typically when it comes to sports animes, it's high school students who want to go to nationals, wants to win, and want to go pro, where they train, there's tournaments and all that, and Blue Lock does that plus more. I said this in my intro that Blue Lock, it deals with, or kinda does the best job of comparing IRL sports, and I think that's because it deals with more of the psychological side. Blue Lock shows how characters are built from the ground up, making them hungry. I think the best example of this deals with the training, how Ego was like, yo, you guys are the weakest of the bunch, so you guys got to get stronger, do all this training. And we actually find out that everybody was considered the weakest, and he did that to make them hungry. When you look at IRL sports, there's different athletes who all they knew, or when they were growing up, because of different tragedies or different events, so let's say they were like in a single parent household or they were poor, all they could do was really rely on sports. For me, my favorite example of this is Mike Evans. He's a wide receiver for the Buccaneers, and he's, to me, an underappreciated wide receiver. He's had 1,000 yards every year he's been in the league, but because of the tragedy that and the stuff that he experienced when he was young, he turned to sports, and that's what made him hungrier and made him one of the best wide receivers in the league right now. The premise of Blue Lock is it's all about ego, because Japan is not necessarily considered to be the best when it comes to sports, and for this example, it is soccer. Look at the World Cup. I believe this year Japan made it like really far, and people were giving them hype and comparing it to like the Blue Lock project and all of that was going around, but it just shows that Japan does not isn't the best when it comes to sports. And in Blue Lock, it's like Japan needs a striker who has the Mamba mentality, which I'll talk about a little bit later, that in order to compete, you need to have a bigger ego. You need to not necessarily ball hog or, do something really stupid. Like, let's say there's 3 or 4 people on you and you're trying to make a miraculous shot. Like, no, if it's somebody open, obviously pass in a scenario like that. But for a striker to always be searching or looking to score a goal or looking to take the last shot, having that type of mentality is somebody that ego is looking for. And for this video, I'm going to be comparing a little bit of IRL sports athletes. So if you guys aren't really interested in that, I still recommend you guys watch the video because I'm going to compare it to Blue Lock, but still, I'm just letting you guys know. But people I want to talk about specifically, and I'm not doing soccer because I only know Messi, Mbappe, Ronaldo, and Neymar. Those are like the only 4 I know, and I don't really watch soccer. Blue Lock got me a little bit interested in it, and I learned a little, like 2 more people that I didn't know that I just listed. But we're going to be talking about basketball for this example, and 2 people I want to talk about is Kobe and Jordan. Kobe, he always has that Mamba mentality, I'm going to find a way to get the bucket. I'm going to find a way to get the last shot when push comes to shove. And Kobe, he's the type of person, I believe he learned different people's languages to talk trash and talk junk to them in their own languages to get in their head. Kobe is a menace, right? Highly recommend you guys watch different interviews or different people talk about him. And the same with Jordan. Jordan would get in people's head. I believe there was something where there was one player in the NBA who was going off, like had a career high in the first half, and then the second half, Michael Jordan shut him down, and he didn't do anything at all in the second half. And also there was Jordan, who went against the #1 high school recruit, and he shut him down at the age of 50. So I highly recommend, like I said, listen to interviews, The Last Dance. I think those are some good things. So for sports, for football, one thing that I love, there's somebody, a quarterback named Deion Sanders, where he was asked in an interview, yo, if you were to line up against Tyreek Hill or such a receiver, what would happen? And you know what he said?
What's the stat line if you go one-on-one with Tyreek Hill?
I'm prime.
So does he catch? I mean, he's got to catch something. He's
No. You can't even ask me that. I'm prime.
He said I'm prime, right? Because he was known as prime time. He's like, yo, like nobody's beating me because I'm prime. And anytime they asked him, he just kept saying, because I'm prime, because I'm that ninja, nobody's gonna beat me. Don't get me wrong, I do believe that skill and physical ability is very important, but it's only half the battle. There's a lot of people who are freakishly skilled but aren't in the league because, well, that's not enough. So Nagi with his trapping ability, Bachira with his dribbling, Chigiri with his speed, Kunigami with his physical, I guess he kind of was in the wild card, but how physically gifted Kunigami is. And we can keep going with all other characters, but I think you guys see the point that Isagi, he's just an average Joe. Like, yeah, he has a really good direct shot, but a lot of characters and a lot of soccer players can do a direct shot. It's just that Isagi does it better than average. And his spatial awareness, other characters have good spatial awareness, like Rin. He's pretty good at it. And also Toshi Sae, and the guy who, I don't remember his name, but his eyes were covered with his hair. He has good spatial awareness as well. But one thing that Isagi does better than them is his ego has evolved tremendously. I'm taking his ego and his type of mindset, his mentality over most of the characters in Blue Lock. And I'm going to list a few examples because Isagi's that dude. He made people past him because his ego is so threatening and overpowering. Specifically Baro, somebody who does not pass the ball at all, believes that he's the king. He made him feel like he was a side character for a minute, and he made Baro pass him the ball. There was the time where after he did his direct shot, he was walking around the different people that he crushed. Mentioning Baro again, he called him a loser. King Baro called him a loser, made him pass the ball. There was him telling Ego to shut up and make us win, saying, when asked, what's he going to do next, he said, not we. I will lead Japan to victory in a U20 World Cup. And then something happened recently dealing with Kaiser. Kaiser's really a cop blocker and he's really annoying, but he ended up creating an assist and he was like, Kaiser, how does it feel to be, grabbed his shirt, was like, how does it feel to be the clown in my story? So Ego has definitely done his job in creating a striker who feeds off of ego. Other things that I think Blood does well is specifically the training. I think it's unique. The first episode even went crazy where when I first saw it, I swear to you guys, there's the whole thing where it's like you can't use your hands, and Bachira kicked the guy in the face and people were mad and talking about, oh, that's a foul. When I looked at it, I was like, well, he didn't break the rules and say you couldn't use your hands. And we later find out the significance behind the training because people were kind of confused. And it's, the size of the penalty area. You have a certain amount of time with the ball, different, since there's so many players on a pitch. And so a striker would always look for different times to score a goal and, would use all the time they have left until time runs out. And, people are getting mad, on all of that. But still, that's true. And so there's other things that Ego did and implemented, talk about awakenings, chemical reaction, and luck, which I want to talk about specifically on that. Because a lot of people believe, different things are like, oh, that's a lucky catch or a lucky block or a lucky shot. Where in actuality, luck and skill go hand in hand. You can influence or have an influence on luck to a certain extent. And Ego, he explained this. There's two scenarios about this with Rin and Isagi, where I'm going to specifically talk about Rin because, well, that's where it all came from. But the example he gave is, let's say there's bird poop on the floor and you're not paying attention. You get pooped on. You're like, oh, well, I'm unlucky. But in actuality, if you were paying attention and saw the poop on the ground beforehand, you could have avoided getting pooped on. That's not you being necessarily unlucky. It's just that you weren't paying attention. But for the Ren example, Isagi left his mark on Ren, and because he trusted Bachira that he was going to, have an awakening, do a little dribble, and try to score a goal. And he ended up blocking it, and the ball just so happened to land where Ren was at. Where in actuality, Ren put himself in the most optimal position to receive a pass. Now, he did get lucky that, the ball, it just so happened to pop up in the air after Isagi blocked it. But Ren, using luck or using the best placement that he, could deduce, he went in a spot where the ball was most likely to go to, and it ended up working in his favor. So the fact that he implemented luck with, his intuitions, different things like that, I feel like that's really interesting. If we're talking about just the story, I think that Blue Lock does everything right and more. Like I said, I love how it implements how IRA athletes became great and different things that they have to do, different, being hungry, getting a bigger ego, training, all of that. Blue Lock does it and then some, where ego is really important and undervalued in sports anime, and I think Blue Lock has highlighted it perfectly. Now, if you want to, get on the animation because they use CGI in different moments, stuff like that, like OST, that's for a different day, but solely based off of the story, I don't think any sports anime beats Blue Lock. But let me know how you guys feel about Blue Lock in the comment section below. And if it's not your favorite sports anime, let me know what your favorite is. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video from me. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. It's on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.